Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Kayce. So today what we are going to be working on is doing some cliff decorating near the speed builds that I had posted last week. It's right in front of Tammy's house. So I'm going to work on some terraforming and decorating of the cliffs outside of her house, and then I'm also going to decorate a little small area next to her house. I'm going to make like a cute little picnic and painting area. So I hope you guys like this video, and please, if you do like the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and I will pop back in later and let you know what I'm doing. But of course, right now I am just going around and grabbing some bushes and flowers like I normally do. So where I'm going to start off on this build is finishing up decorating this cliff right next to Tammy's house. I'm just going to put down some flowers, and then I am going to place some bushes as well over this little cliff that I had terraformed. And then I'm going to do some waterscaping. Like I had mentioned in my previous videos, I like to add in waterscaping. It gives the area some nice variety, and I absolutely love waterscaping and terraforming. I wish that our islands could be like twice the size just so I could have half of it dedicated to terraforming and like cool waterscaping ideas. So that's what I'm working on now. And then this area, it took me a bit longer because I wanted the cliff to have some nice breaks in between with the little streams or waterfalls, but I also wanted the sides of the waterscaping to have the rounded edges. In my opinion, I just prefer that look. I think it looks nicer. So that's why it took me a couple minutes to figure out how I wanted that little waterfall to look. So now what I'm going to be doing is just placing some items to fill up the empty space behind the waterfall that I just terraformed, and then I will be going back in and adding in some codes underneath. I thought it looked a little bit too empty on the ground without laying down a little blanket code first, so that's what you'll see me doing now. And then with these diagonal blankets, I like to use the circular codes around it. I like the little extra variety that it gives to the blanket, so I just use that little flower code on the outside of the diagonal blanket. I really like how that ended up looking for this area. And then I'm just kind of figuring out what other little items I think would look good next to the clotheslines. I did that same little trick again with using that circular code right next to the blanket. And then I believe right here I realized that I didn't have all of the items that I wanted for this little clothesline laundry area, whatever you want to call it. So I am just going back to my storage and then grabbing a couple more things to craft a old-fashioned wash tub so I can place it down right next to the clothesline. And in this video, you will see me running back and forth to my house a lot. I try to go into these videos with the items that I already know that I want to use planned out, but you know, you can't always plan everything. So I will be testing a bunch of different items, going back and forth to my house like I had mentioned, just because it was a little tricky to find the right items to fill up this smaller space. But I do really like decorating these smaller areas. I think that when it comes together, it is kind of rewarding. So if you guys would be interested in a video on decorating small spaces, I can definitely make like a tip video or something like that, because I remember when I first started playing Animal Crossing, that was one of the things that I really struggled with, was trying to figure out what items would fit in these little like 5x4 or 6x6 spaces on my island. So I feel like with enough practice and just learning, I was able to kind of figure it out. Obviously, I'm not perfect and I still struggle. So if that's something that you guys would be interested in, definitely let me know, leave a comment, and I would love to make that for you. Like I said, they are my favorite areas to work on my island. And then I am just kind of finishing up this little space right here. I really like adding just like one piece of fencing. It gives some like little breaks to the area that I'm working on. So I'm definitely a big fan of that. And I think I had mentioned this before in one of my other videos, is making sure that the entire space that I'm working on is completely filled up. I really like to have my builds feel full. So that's why you also see all of these random flowers all over my island. When I restarted, I just grabbed a bunch of flowers from a treasure island. I am really looking forward to using all of the different colors of flowers on my island, and I'm so excited about doing like a metalcore theme because it just gives me an excuse to use a bunch of different flowers that are in the game, and I'm really looking forward to that. I think there is a balance though as to making it look nice and full versus just making it look like you randomly place down a bunch of flowers. So there is a little balance in how many flowers you use, and I feel that it's important to use items to kind of break up all of the flowers so it doesn't just look, I don't want to say sloppy, but not put together. So that's just another tip for you all if you struggle with deciding how and where to use flowers. I would definitely recommend trying to break it up, and you can even, like I'm doing here, is break it up with some waterscaping in between the flowers. I feel like that makes the look come together really nice. And then I also am a big fan of using these like little 4 tile circular codes. I found this big daisy one. I'm still not entirely sure if I'm gonna keep it, but for now I like it. So now what I'm doing is just taking one of the stunted trees and placing it in front of that little waterfall. And then I am just gonna grab some more flowers to go ahead and decorate the top of the cliff that I had just waterscaped. So I will be finishing up this little side of the cliff, and then we'll be transitioning to the area kind of directly in front of Tammy's house, while I will start to work on the little painting and picnic area. So for this little picnic area, I found this really pretty tulip blanket. I really like the color of it. So I am going to go ahead and use that to kind of fill up some of the space on the floor. I like to start with doing a lot of the main ground coats first, and then kind of just, that will give me an idea of how much room I have to work with and what items I can go ahead and place on top of the blanket. And so now I'm just grabbing a couple items I think will look good in a cute little painting area. And then I am going to go back to that place that I was working on and start to place the items down and kind of see what works and what doesn't. I really wanted this little lace code to work in front of the blanket, but unfortunately I always have the need for things to look pretty symmetrical. So as you can see, I had to extend the blanket, but I felt that the blanket was too long, so I did end up taking that down and changing it. I wish my brain wasn't like that. I wish things didn't need to be perfectly symmetrical as far as like codes that I'm working with sometimes, but I did wind up changing that. You'll see that a little bit later in the video, but I mean, at least I tried. So that's another tip that I can give you guys, is don't be afraid to just experiment with different things. And even if that means placing down a bridge and removing it like 4 times until you get what you like, I've definitely done that before. I mean, the cool thing about Animal Crossing is that it's a game and you're not, you know, spending real money or anything like that. So if you're just starting out, that's one thing that definitely helped me in the beginning, is don't be afraid to experiment with different patterns or how you place your bridges, because that, I feel like if you have that like mind state, it can definitely make terraforming and decorating a lot easier for you, and it's a lot less stressful too. So now that I have the pieces of furniture laid out how I would like them on this little picnic area, that's when I start to go around and kind of fine tune all of the trees and flowers and bushes in this area. So right now what I am doing is just going in and adding these cute little garden steps, and I did struggle a bit with the kind of straight lines at the edges of the steps. I am just grabbing some bushes and flowers now to kind of hide those a little bit more so it looks more cohesive and blended together. And then the last parts of the areas that I work on are usually just filling in the area with some ground coats or some flowers, and then I try to take a look at the space that I built and see if I need to do any extra little waterscaping or terraforming. I do have my river mouth down right below this cliff, so I think I'm going to connect that to a little waterfall on top of this cliff. I'm still not entirely sure how I want to decorate, obviously, the area below the river mouth, but I feel like adding in some water right here broke up that large area of land, so I feel that that came together quite nicely. So what I am doing right here is just customizing some log stakes to put at the edge of this cliff. And then I am just gonna go ahead and open up my camera app to get kind of a wider view of this area. One of the big reasons why I like to open up the in-game camera is because it obviously gives you a wider view of the area, but it can also point out little sections that you may have accidentally forgotten. So right here I noticed that there is this tile right next to the waterfall where it was just empty, so I just am going ahead and placing down a cute little flower code, and then I will just show you guys everything that I had worked on so far overall. I'll do like a quick little walkthrough, and I'm really looking forward to expanding on this area behind Tammy's house. There's a little waterfall and like a river that I made. I'm going to go ahead and place a bridge right here, and I'm going to make a cute little hiking trail or forest area. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them below. And I hope you all have a wonderful rest of your day, and please leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!